The Reserve Bank has extended its accommodative monetary policy at its September meeting, keeping the repo rate unchanged at 3.5% since July of last year. The low inflation environment has created room for the Reserve Bank to delay raising the repo rate. The Reserve Bank projections forecast the rate hiking cycle to resume before the end of the year. The low interest rate environment, fiscal support measures, less stringent COVID-19 restrictions have supported economic activity, but uncertainty still lingers.
The Monetary Policy Committee kept the repo rate steady at 3.5% for 7 consecutive meetings despite rising inflation risks, showing difference to the economic recovery. Many emerging markets are grappling with sharply rising inflation and have begun reducing policy accommodation. In South Africa, domestic factors have largely countered global inflationary forces, enabling the MPC to keep the repo rate at the current levels. However, South Africa is slowly but surely running out of runway.
The local economic recovery has benefited from stronger global growth and ongoing vaccinations against COVID-19. The central bank says there is clear difference in recovery between economies with access to vaccines and those still battling the lack of vaccines.
Much of the recovery from the pandemic is diverging along the lines of vaccination rates. This chart just shows you this very nicely about how vaccination rates per 100 people are rising to the right-hand side of the graph. And then on the left-hand side, we're measuring on the y-axis there, the manufacturing purchasing managers index. And it's worth noting this group of countries here, which includes South Africa, where our manufacturing levels have actually bounced back pretty well, despite having relatively low vaccination rates. But you can see how better vaccination outcomes moving to the right should generate a more sustainable growth.
The Reserve Bank says the local economy has continued to recover despite the setbacks of continuing virus waves and the unrest that gripped KwaZulu-Natal, Gauteng and Mpumalanga in July. It's expected the unrest will further dent investor confidence. Julius Sefako Musi, SABC News, Johannesburg.